rejoice. Remember, rejoice over your own activities, double, triple benefit. And that's what you should give yourself, a good Christmas gift, honestly. And we all together look it back, and we have not wasted our life. Every Sunday, with a little good, try to be good motivation, I try to be help and service of people who are listening. And that's not only I'm doing, we are doing it. And if you people don't listen, even I wanted to talk, and even I have something to say, but I cannot talk because there's nobody listening. So this is mutual efforts put towards this Dharma. That is a good achievement for us. From the karmic point of view, something solid. So rejoice what we have done and commit yourself to continue on the path in the upcoming new year. And most important, engage your life in these three principal points. Point of non-attachment. A small little attachment will be there. This is our life, our habit, our addiction. So we cannot say, please detach. You cannot. Or beside that, total detachment may not be great either. So because we live in samsara life, we do have to have a little attachment. Otherwise, detached is not necessarily that interesting or great. So that's why attachment is sometimes can be helpful for bodhisattvas to help other living beings. It's become instrumental for service rather than terrible. So, but overly attached and obsessive and all of those are very definitely unwanted. So when you are talking about non-attachment, and we have to think those lines, they are to be like precious life, achievement in the life, enlightenment to be in our future, etc. Though if you are attached, these are good attachment. And also comfortable life. We do need it in order to help yourself, in order to help others. So these are something you have to maintain it. So obsession and addiction, of those things to be renounced. Those things to be renounced. Because if you are addicted to the samsaric effects, either positive way or the negative way, both are no good. No good. So therefore, for this is very tricky path. Very, very, very funny certain things to be taken out, but certain things to be maintained. And sort of it is renouncing is what you are really renouncing. It is simply to say attachment renounce. Probably if you renounce all attachment, it becomes detached. And do you want to be detached in your life? If you become a real great practitioner who can live in the forest or the mountains and don't bother anything in life like a Miller Rebbe style. And if you do that, that's great. But I don't think we can do that. This is not in our life. So we are looking for dharma that is really give us good life as well as good dharma together. We are looking for balance point. And I'm not trying to make a balance with the samsara, but don't misunderstand me. But the way you are cutting the samsara traditionally may or may not be very suitable for us. The time, life, and life itself, today's time itself, very few, less than half a dozen may be able to renounce everything and live in the like nothing, maybe a little few seeds and beads and things like that per day, like Buddha did 60 years. And that will be, we are lucky if we have even half a dozen of that. We're lucky. But every one of us needs to be balanced and good renunciation, without which whatever we do, everything becomes samsaric, which means even the good work we have done is just to bring another samsaric life which doesn't help. We have an opportunity, we have a possibility, we have everything. We must go beyond that. But very beautifully balanced, okay? Very balanced. And then next is compassion. Compassion seems to be a little more easier for us. Seems to be. But if you go in detail, it is equally difficult. However, compassion for yourself is the first principle. Renunciation is compassion for yourself. If you care for yourself, I don't want to create another suffering. So this is how you go, right? Compassion for yourself is the first principle within you. Compassion for other is based on the compassion to yourself. If you don't have a compassion to yourself, you can't have a compassion for others, for anyone, even your own spouse or anything. If you don't care for yourself, you can't care anybody else. This is the true reality. So the compassion for others, seeing their difficulties, seeing the possibility of urgent difficulties, looking at them deeply, where does that come from, how it does, and seeing the correction at the causal level, not result level, knowing all that, and the developing love and the compassion and the caring and a special resolution, and then become fortunate one. All of us have this open opportunity completely. Door is wide open. Why? So we walked in it. And we tried to do that last years. And we will do it more now this year. More. Try to get inside there. Be a member of City of Liberation. Be a member of joyful, full community of Bodhisattva. And that's what we always keep it in mind, walk in that direction. Then, of course, wisdom. Wisdom. Interesting. Wisdom. Emptiness is certainly not empty. Very definitely not empty. The other day, I think 2 days ago or something, Uyenla showed me a little website where they're broadcasting going on from India, the South India Sarah Monastery, where His Holiness is giving teaching today and these days. And there was a conference of mind life and Buddhist philosophy on that. The major presenter of Buddhist philosophy from the eastern point is Geshe Yeshe Tabke, who comes and teaches here. And Geshe Yeshe Tabke is the more presenter with His Holiness, and all normal, all Western professors are there. And John Dane of, I think it's Atlanta, right? Huh? Emory, yeah. John Dane of Emory and Caffrey of Smith College, right? So both of them are the Western philosophy presenter. And John Dane, while introducing Geshe Yeshe Tabke as his own teacher and all that, and then he said, well, we're going to spend a whole day today on self, which is not existing. And Yeshe Tabke somehow showed his disagreement, physical as well as he said something. I couldn't hear well. He's saying something. And then he presented his view of selfless. And so he divided into two, self that to be maintained and self that to be negated. Which is very true, which seems to be a little bit of a surprise to the Western professors there. But I didn't notice Thurman or the Jeffrey Hopkins or that type of people are not there. But now this is the younger generation. So anyway, so this is the thing. When you say emptiness and I'm not there, that's not true, you know. There's something to be maintained as basis of all our karma, basis of functioning, basis of life, that I has to be maintained. And without which will be absolutely nothing. So people do normally misunderstood. And that because of not your fault, because of our fault, because we don't want you to have a solid ego holding it. So we try to make it totally non-existent and a bare designation and simply conditions just made, which is true, but that doesn't mean it's not there completely. So all this sort of wisdom thing, we had to put a lot of time, lasted a couple of years, for destroying the ego. Now, probably we have to re-establish it a little bit about basis of all. It's not a basis of all that the Chittamanthans accept as an additional, what is that called? Huh?
Alaya, the base consciousness.
Yeah. The senses. So the additional senses instead of 6 and making into 8. I'm not talking about that basis at all. I'm talking about actually self that really do exist. And and that sort of really, that's why wisdom becomes very balancing point. And almost everything is balancing. To me, it has become too much. Even our food is a thing, like sugar is terrible. And Thurman's wife, Nina Thurman, told me, poison, poison, poison. Yes, it's true. But you cannot completely avoid sugar at all, as we all know. Though we say white sugar is bad, white powder is bad, sugar is bad, blah, blah, blah. But without sweet, how can you survive? So that's the really truth, right? So you need the right balance. I don't mean eat white sugar, but there are plenty of sugar, sweet within every food we eat. And that's really true. And then everything, too much is terrible for your health. Anyway, everything, even good ones, very healthy food, too much is terrible, won't work well, honestly. And of course, poison food, too much is, of course, way beyond, right? So the balancing is perfect thing for everything, for food, for medicine, particularly for medicine. Medicine. And for everything, even ourselves, the heat, we have to balance, right? Too hot is not good. You sweat, can't sleep, do all that. And too cold, you'll be shivering, and the balancing points. So the wisdom is balancing. And that really not only apply to self and ego, etc., but everywhere, everything. Everything. Sex is wonderful, but too much will give you in trouble, right? So we all know that. So, etc. So everything like that. So the wisdom is really balancing to me. Balancing. Generosity is wonderful and a must. But if you give everything, what you're going to eat, what you're going to wear. Balancing. Morality is absolutely necessary and wonderful. But if you have too much and you become quite conservative, do you want that? So all of those, patience is wonderful, a must, particularly if you want it to be beauty or handsome, patience is must. However, if you're too patient and you don't even know between good and bad, you don't want that. Enthusiasm is important, must, but if you're overly eager, what that leads you? Beyond, opposite direction. So all of those are the wisdom of balancing applied, including meditation and the wisdom itself. And the most important, every day our life. I'm not talking about practice. I'm not talking about dharma. I'm talking about every day our life. Balancing, wisdom carrying, which is good for you, which is good for everybody. You must maintain. You urge others to maintain same way if you care. So that's what I wanted to talk to you. And looking back in our life, we did not waste the year. Glad to know that. Glad to know that. And looking forward for the next year also, if possible, to be better. Thank you for being here, and thank you for this wonderful year. And wish you all Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and looking forward for the wonderful upcoming year. And thank you.